trade background.
Yep.
Right? I would honestly say to clients, if your builder hasn't come from a trade background,
it's scary, run away.
It can be scary. Like, no, but I mean, I'm not going to tar everyone with the same brush. There's great builders out there who have come from a managing background and they've got the right people in place, and that's awesome. But if it's a small business and you've got someone who's come from a carpentry background, which is most people do, like obviously they know intimately how to build a house before. And unfortunately, most of them don't know how to build a business. And that's why, like at the end of the day, we all want to put our hands up. And we're fortunate we've, got parents who are great business people as well. And they've been nothing but supportive for Darren and me for the last 12 years. And that's forever awesome. Will be. That's for us, we're really deep with family like that. But if you've got a builder that, say is on the tools all the time and they're not getting, say, maybe some coaching or don't have some assistance along the way, that builder is going to be doing like all the actual building side of work. Like there's a difference that people don't understand. Is like, and I still think people don't understand it. A carpenter is someone who's on site with a tool belt on and actually physically working. Labour aspect to build the house. The builder isn't doing that. No, the builder is actually doing everything else. And we spoke before off air about how many hats we wear and all that sort of stuff. Well, and there's our hats, like I don't even know. Like we both don't have a ton of hair, mate. But we both, I've got more hats that I like physically than I could cover with the amount of jobs we have to do as a builder. Like it's the list is endless. It is. It even comes down to our managing our staff and managing clients' expectations. Everything right throughout. Like
and how much time do we spend on things like a fun one, which in business is probably the most difficult one is the psychology.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And how much time do we spend managing that on a daily basis?
Our own especially. And everyone's like, you've got the trademark shirt on, and I've said to you, we do our trademark Fridays as well, and
it's brilliant.
And other things. We speak to other people in that part of the industry that are doing awesome stuff, which is cool. We're open about it as well as you. And everyone in every walk of life has stresses and pressure and anxiety builds. Like obviously, as we said before, there's a powerful part of like Instagram and social media, but there's also the negative part of it, which I have no doubt that if there was no social media, there'd be less mental health issues going on around the world. So, as much as it's great, we got to manage all that either personally ourselves, and we're open with people about the way we manage our personal stuff. Like I don't make any secret visions that I'll go and do my gym workout every day. A lot of the days it's like in the middle of my day, which is my break. I don't sit around a table and have smoke on lunch. Like I occasionally will jump on site and have a pie with the boys or something like that. But you've got to manage yourself, and we talked about filling our cups and making sure our cups are full. And it's good for clients to know that. We have a questionnaire. I'd like to see clients throw a questionnaire at us.
For
Say,
sure.
hey, what do you do? What's your... our questionnaire actually has a real breakdown for starters, more of an introduction anyway. So we're pretty open about, hey, this is how many kids we have. This is what we like to do. This is where we like to holiday. When they know that, it's kind of like, okay, well, these guys are, real people. And, little things like setting the tone of, we're only available in business hours. Like how many times years ago would you have been contacted? We used to have a client on a Sunday night that I'd had one. I got two phones now. One's personal, one's work. And when the work phone's finished for the day, it's finished. Sometimes it's on. If it's an emergency or something's got to be arranged late at night, or that's last minute or something. That's occasionally rare. But I used to have one phone, and I used to have one client that just insisted on emailing it. Like, I'm not even shitting, 12 o'clock on a Sunday night. And because I was probably younger and naive, and no wonder I got no hair now, mate. But it's my phone used to ding off, and like an idiot, you'd look at it. And you start the week off. It's Sunday night. You'd literally lose sleep. You get up on a Monday and you're stressed. So I think it's important, like for people, you don't contact any other person that you need to follow up, that you're chasing up. Hey, ring your dentist and say, mate, I've got a toothache. I'm ringing you at Sunday night.
And it's interesting that you say that, because the building industry is unique like that, where the expectation, and this has gone back even back to the days of free quotes, and everybody rolling around with free quotes written up there. Whoever did that, good on you, but you set the standard, and then
you still see it now, don't you? I kind of almost go, you know,
you get the shivers.
Yeah, it's like, what if? Yeah, why? Like I don't know about you, we like absolute minimum, you'd put like 40 hours into something.
Well and truly,
and it wouldn't be final, it wouldn't be revised, it wouldn't be contract ready.
Yep.
You know, so where are you going to work 40 hours
for nothing?
And for nothing.
Yep.
So yeah, it's. I don't know. That's to me, that shows professionalism.
It does.
Yeah,
well,
it doesn't show that we're trying to be screw anyone or make maximum dollars. It's like, no, we're charging our worth.
Yeah, that's
you
right.
know, we've got mortgages and families and business expenses and overheads.
Yep.
We've got to pay for them.
That's right.
You know,
and it's one of those funny things that makes the building industry unique is that people are expecting that, but they don't expect it from medical professions. You're not going to go to a heart surgeon and say, oh, come on, you should be able to do it.
How much is your solicitor charging an hour?
Exactly.
So we all go to one time to time. I think I got an email from our solicitor.
450 plus GST.
Yeah, I think ours is 550 now. Might have to get your number, mate. But you know, like, but hey, that's, you know, all those things we could talk all day about. But you know, that's part of it. Like, we have probably on an annual basis where we'll send our documentation into our solicitors and say, hey, can you do another full review of it? And you know,
there goes $3,000 to $5,000.
Yeah, and we do that because we're like, no, we want to make, but that's not just to cover our ass. Like, don't get everyone's got to do it, but we want our clients set up. No, we don't want to be sending contracts out and going, this is getting thrown back. And you know, we spend the time, we've educated ourselves over the years on contracts, and by doing that, we've done a lot of it with the solicitor. They're the ones that know that stuff. We were chippies.
That's right.
You know, you hear people out there say, you know, we've just done chippies and stuff like that. I heard it on an interview the other day where some guys went in and came out and said, oh, we did this job, and you know, we walked back out. We actually said to the clients, was like first presentation they ever had, and we said, hey, listen, we're just dumb chippies trying to be builders. I was like, but that's the mentality that you're trying to get away from. And I don't know, I think if you're doing all those things, if your clients walk away and they're like, nah, I'm not doing that, I'm not paying for that, I just want a free quote and whatever, well, you'll get it.
You'll get it.
But what are you going to get out of it?
And what's the value of a free quote?
Yeah.
You're going to find out eventually what the value of a free quote is.
Yeah.
We know you get. How often do you go get some free food from a restaurant? Yeah. You don't.
No.
So at the end of it, there might be people that are out there doing those free quotes, and they might be spending midnight away from their kids. Yeah. Because their kids are asleep or something like that. Doing that quote, but how much has been missed, or how many times did they just throw a square metre rate at it and didn't take in all the information?
It's that whole thing, you're getting apples for oranges, or you know. I think with us anyway, like probably just, you know, if we're talking about education and stuff for clients, but I know with ours, like we sort of even took out talking about the quote, because it's not really for us, it's not a quote.
Yes.
We're providing a service.
That's right.
So we're actually, you know, basically providing a building consultancy service before we're actually building. You know, and there's quantity surveyors out there and stuff where people can go through. We're not signing a contract, a building contract to do that. You know, we're signing a preliminary agreement, which is just for preliminary works, inspections and pricing basically. But what, you know, I think we find it's awesome for the client and for us, because we get an idea of, the client gets us, they get to learn about us, they get to build that relationship before it's ready to start, you know, getting the machine on site or swinging hammers or anything like that. But at the same time, as the builder, we get to actually know, all right, well, that's in our pipeline. We know that we can commit to this project and give that client our all, and they've got us right from design all the way through to when we hand a house over and they're living back in that house or living in a new home. So, you know, there's a difference between just, I suppose, if you've got someone out there that's going to just go, hey, we're going to charge you $1,000 a pop just to chuck your quote in, and away you go. And I think with what we're doing, we're trying to like really break down barriers of making that next level. And, you know, feedback we're getting with the designers and architects we're working with is how successful they find it.
Yep.
We're actually able to provide them with a service at the same time, because we can go and do thorough site inspections. We can actually have a look at the buildability of what they got starting on paper, you know. And when you're talking about, honestly, with clients' budgets and then what's on paper and then what we need to build, it's all got to gel and it's all got to work.
Yep.
You can't have, you know, a design and a budget that are a mile apart. You can't have a builder that's charging like, you know, $2 million for $1 million house. You know, we're not all going to charge the same, are we? Like, it comes down to what we need to charge to run our business,
yes,
which is different for every business out there. So I think, you know, it's just a real positive of what we do to actually get the client the best value. We're not charging every dollar in that price. Like if we quote it and it's $100,000 over, well, there's something that's gone $100,000 over. Maybe the design needs to be scaled back. You know, so I think that's a real positive way of doing it. But again, a lot of that goes to networking.
It does,
you know,
very much so. Because you've got those relationships with the client to start off with, but then if you've got those relationships with the other guys that are helping to be able to deliver a project, so you've got your architects or your drafty or engineers and everybody who's going to be designing this stuff up. And when people have a budget in mind, and I know that I've got a number of projects right now where we're working towards the budget, and it might be a $500,000 budget, but we're working towards that compared to getting a set of plans and someone's got a $500,000 budget and then there's $1 million build cost. What do you do with that $500,000 in between, because you haven't been working on the design and tempering expectations or doing anything that you don't have that relationship there when someone comes to you with a set of plans and they just want you to price it. To me, that's a scary proposition. When someone's already got a set of plans, I'm like, this is a different avenue than I need to have a chat with you about your property. And I find that I get pushback because we just want a price. Well, I have to have these conversations with you before we can give you a price,
because we'll kind of know we see enough designs, enough plans, and we've got maybe the data there on similar projects in recent times. We might even had something 4 years ago and prices might have gone up 30-40% across the board, but you can say, that was $600,000 4 years ago. It's going to be close to $1 million now, you know, if not more. that's just, it's crazy, you know. I've sort of plans for my own house going on at the moment, and I'm looking at some of the figures and I'm like, this would have cost me that 4 years ago for a client. It's costing me that, you know, and it's just the new normal. So, you know, you're going to, if you're just putting something on paper and you're not getting a team and collaborating with the team, as I said before, that's one of our values. It's literally on our logo. It's there. We will not just jump into a quote. We're going to collaborate, and that includes the client. If the client's not a part of that team to collaborate, that process is not happening, and we're not involved.
For sure. Well and truly. And just to be able to get to the point where you are even starting to put pen to paper for costing, I know for me, like there's 5 processes, there's 5 parts for us before we even start looking at the costings, if someone comes to us with a set of plans anyway. And so we know that there's 5 touch points that need to be addressed before it comes into it. And like one of the funniest ones that I experienced was a family member that wanted us to do some work with them.
It's always fun.
And one of the things that we did was, okay, well, you're just any other client. Remember that. We might be family, we might be related, but I'm running a business. And when you come to me, you need to go through these same steps, because everything in there is designed and has been sculpted to be able to deliver the projects that we deliver. And without doing that, we can't guarantee that that's going to happen. And it was interesting having that conversation with them, because they're like, but you know us. Yeah, possibly. I know you from a family perspective, but when it comes to business, I have to keep those two things separate. And I know that I've seen so many, personally, I've had friendships that have broken down because we did work with them. And that was because they wanted to skip some of those steps. And
it's a hard one, isn't it? You kind of blur those lines, and we made that decision a long time ago that we were, it's family. We've done stuff for my sister and our parents, but that's where it stops. It's, I think early days we would have done decks and little renos and things like that. It's like, it becomes difficult to keep everyone happy, and then you sit around at a family catch up and all of a sudden it's turned to shit.
Yeah. Well, it's funny.
You're a jerk because you stuffed them around or something. And
that's right.
Yeah.
And you end up with someone on one side of the room. There's the family that's like, yeah, well, you're doing the right thing. Then you got the other side of the family that's like, you're a dick. And it's like, what do we do with this now, guys? Sorry.
And we're the builder, so we're generally going to be the dick.
We're the dick. So sorry, guys, you stuffed up. And we experienced that, and that's like personally, like that's something that's probably losing those friendships because something went wrong with the business, or something wasn't delivered the way that they were expecting, or they had a higher expectation than what we could deliver for them. That can make things so strained when it comes to friendships, and we're human. We make mistakes, but we'll always try to fix it up as best we can. And that always goes back to those relationships, and how much everything that we do is more based on relationship than it is about the money. Right?
That's why you go back to that original starting point, and if you can show to a client or whoever you're going to work with before that you're professional and that's how it's going to be treated, you're going to be human about it. As I said earlier, we sit down and have a joke and a coffee and talk about all things from sports and kids to holidays, whatever it might be, like those interests that are on that questionnaire, that's our where you can connect with people, and that grows as you get your the relationship grows. But it really goes down to making sure those relationships, regardless, you want to keep it professional when it's professional things, but you want to have the human side of things in check as well. We're all humans. We've all got feelings and stuff.
The skin bags of emotions that we are.
That's it. So, some days we're crawling through halfway through winter now, and everyone's
freezing
probably a little bit more. Everyone's probably a little bit more grumpy and tired and hungry, and you don't have to get me started about having hanger issues. So it's where we're all. You've got to be mindful of that those relationships are in check, and you're aware of yourself and you're aware of what's going on with your clients too, because they'll have your client. Everyone's got they've got jobs, they've got kids, maybe they've got financial, everyone's getting mortgage increases. So
the pressure's coming from everywhere.
That's the current society that we're in. It's hard. Like everyone's in the same boat. So I think if everyone gets off to a good start, it's easier to build on that. If you get off to a bad start, probably 99% of the chance it's going to not get any better.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, first impressions count.
Definitely. Yeah,
they really do.
That's for sure.
No, thank you so much, Dean. This has just been brilliant to sit down and have a chat with you. And I hope that everybody's sort of gotten some value from what we have been talking about. It's once again, Builder's Office is here for the discussions that you're not necessarily going to hear about in a day-to-day basis when it comes to builders being builders. I mean, how often do we actually get to hear about the things that are going on in the background? Not very often.
That's it.
But we're here to have those conversations and chat about what's going on behind closed doors.
That's it, mate. Thanks for coming to my office for the day. It's been
your office has been brilliant. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for having me, mate.
All right. So thanks everyone for listening. Really appreciated the time, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks a lot, guys. Take care.